Good evening, students. So this is the third lecture of design of machine element. So here we will discuss about the mode of failure, how the machine element fails. So the first mode is by elastic deflection. In the transmission system, the shaft which support gears are subjected to load which causes deflection of shaft. So deflection is nothing but elastic deformation, but due to this deformation the machine part cannot function properly. The maximum force which can be applied on the shaft is limited by the permissible elastic deflection. Lateral or torsional rigidity is the criteria for designing such component. Most effective method of decreasing the deflection of a member is by changing its shape or cross-sectional dimension. Next mode is yielding. Yielding already you have known. The ductile material after the elastic limit becomes elongate without addition of load. So the ductile material loses its engineering usefulness due to a large amount of plastic deformation, which is known as yielding. Though the material has not broken, but because of this elongation, the change in dimension, because of this plastic deformation, which is known as yielding, the component cannot be put into use. To avoid failure due to yielding, working stress for ductile material is always less than the yield stress. So next mode is failure by fracture. So sudden fracture of brittle material, fracture of cracked or flawed member, and progressive fracture due to cyclic load known as fatigue and due to low temperature. So fracture occurs because of these reasons. In case of brittle materials, once the elastic limit ends, suddenly the material get fractured. So this is one type of failure for which the brittle materials are designed keeping the factor of safety. And if there is any crack or flaw inside the member, this is the origin of fracture, and with time fracture failure of the element takes place. And fatigue already I have discussed. This is occurs when the element is under cyclic load, when the load varies from maximum to minimum and because of low temperature. So fracture occurs at much below stress than yield stress if the component is under cyclic load. Fatigue failure occurs below yield stress, and brittle material cease to function suddenly due to fracture without showing any plastic deformation. So these are the factors which governs the design of machine element. Important factors. First one is strength. A machine part should not fail under the effect of forces acting on it. It should have sufficient strength to avoid failure due to fracture or yielding. So, the strength is measured by its ability to overcome the failure due to fracture or yielding. Next is rigidity. Rigidity is related with stiffness. Machine component should be rigid enough so that it will not deflect or bend due to forces or moment acting on it. A transmission shaft is designed on the basis of lateral rigidity and torsional rigidity. Next factor is wear resistance. A machine component should be wear resistant because wear reduces accuracy of machine tool along with its life cycle. Surface hardening will increase the wear resistance of the machine component. And safety. The shape and dimension of the machine part should ensure safety to the operator of the machine. So these are the factors. And to maintain the safety, the dimension as well as the weight must be as minimum as required, which will also reduce the material cost. And conformance to the standard. So there are some standard. When you will design different machine parts, the diameter, the dimension of the part, if it will be somewhere in between two limits, it will be limited to a standard value. So you cannot keep it at any value. So it will be converted to a standard value. So machine parts should conform to the national and international standards covering the dimension, profile and material. And last but not the least, the designer has to focus on minimum life cycle cost. Total cost to be paid for purchasing the part and its operation and maintenance cost for the whole lifespan, because cost is the major component which add value to the design. So now we will discuss various design procedure. The general procedure to solve a design problem is as follows. Recognition of need. When we will start designing, we should know what is the need, what we are going to design, what is the purpose of the machine which will be designed. Next, the mechanism. You have already studied different mechanisms. So now from the need of the machine, you have to select the possible mechanism or group of mechanisms which will give the desired motion. Next is analysis of forces. What load, what forces will act on the machine element when it will be put to operation, and what will be the energy transmitted by each member. So next is material selection. So first you have to select the need. By knowing the need, you have to select the mechanisms. Next you have to, after knowing the mechanisms, you have to analyze what are the load, what energy each member will transmit, Knowing the requirement and the working condition, you have to select the best material. Next is design of elements. Find the size of each member of the machine by considering the force acting on the member and the permissible stresses for the material used. It should be kept in the mind that each member should not deflect or deform more than the permissible limit, which is strength and stiffness of the material. Next is modification. If you are able to modify the size or the material to reduce the overall cost without hampering its desired utility, you can modify for better design. Next is detailed drawing. After designing and modifying, the designer has to draw and give a detailed drawing of each component and assembly drawing of the whole machine with complete specification for manufacturing process. So the detailed drawing along with the material of each component will be given to the manufacturer. So this is the flow chart for general procedure in machine design. First you have to know the need or aim. Next is synthesis, the mechanisms, then analysis of forces. After that, material selection. Next is finding out size and stresses of different elements. After finding out the dimension, the material, the mechanisms, you have to consider about its modification for cost effectiveness. Once it is modified, the design is finalized, the detailed drawing is to be given to the production center. So, this is all about the designing procedure. Now, with this, we have to start designing a component. So, in the next video, we will discuss about designing of a weld joint.